you. I am so excited that you are with me here today. I am Renee DiVincenzo with MDO Administrating Services, and I am an administrative strategist, and I'm so excited to share with you today, Showcase Your Biz. We're going to be having Jane Butler on, and Jane Butler, I'm just trying to find her name over here because I have so many different links. Here we go. We're going to have Jane on today. Jane is a health and wellness coach, I guess is the best way I can say that. And she's going to be sharing some information with us. I'm going to give you a little bit of her bio. But before we get started, and we're going to let some people hop on, if there are some things that you'd like to know about my business and what you do, and areas that I can help you with, always remember that you could go to my website. As an administrative strategist, I help business owners like yourself to be able to identify the areas that you are wanting to have a better understanding how to run your back office, get your business to the next level. And, if you want to be part of a supportive group, check out my group, Simplify Your Business Administration. This is where we get to meet as business owners. I also give some back office tips. And if you would like to showcase your business, just join the group and let us know what you do. And I will schedule time with you, which I am actually excited to say that we are booked almost to the end of the year having guest speakers. So it's going to be super, super exciting. So today, as I shared, I am going to talk about Jane. First of all, let me tell you about live, okay? I didn't even know if Jane was going to get on here today because her computer was not working with us. And I thought I'd be talking about myself, which, I was like, okay, great. But anyway, she's on her phone, and I just want to get her name right back up here again. I'm going to share a little bit about her story, and here we go. And some things that you just may not know about Jane. So Jane actually originally is from the UK, and excuse me for looking down because I don't want to miss anything of what she shared with me. She lives in Bay Area, North Carolina, where she is the CEO and founder of Individual You Coaching. Jane has been a registered nurse for over 40 years. She's now retired, and she has experience in NHS, which cannot wait to learn what that is about, and an integrative health and wellness coach. She helps women during their menopausal years to find the best life, have more energy, confidence, and clarity. What Jane had found was what works, what doesn't work with conventional medicine, and she believes in the holistic approach, which is far more positive, impacting health and helping you to feel better when we are in this period of our life. Her holistic skills and knowledge, which she gained both from her nurse and health coach, helps empower her clients to make nutritional and lifestyle choices that produce real and lasting results. Her passion is sleep. And this is the area that if you are one that has a little difficulty when it comes to sleeping, connect with Jane. I'm also going to be giving you her social media links where you can reach out to her and learn a little bit more about it. And I'm now going to introduce Jane. Jane, welcome. Thank you for being my guest. And where are you right now? Are you in California or are you in London? You are...
Well, hi, Renee. I'm actually in London at the moment. Yeah. So add to all the confusion, yes, I'm actually in London at the moment, although that's where I'm originally from. And I've been living in the Bay Area in California for, I guess, the last 8 years. So for me, I think it's somewhere around about 4:30 in the afternoon. And I think you're probably about 5 hours behind me at the moment.
Yeah, because we're a little after 11:30 right now. So... yeah, so I guess we're about like 5 hours or something like that. You're ahead of me. You're behind.
That's right.
Behind. Yeah. I always get that mixed up.
When we get to finish, I'm going to go off and have my dinner and go out and socialize in London.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. London's a beautiful, beautiful country. So, Jane, talk about your story, because I do see here in some of the information that you did give me is about you went through your own menopausal, as you called it, memo craze yourself, if I'm
I did.
and there were some changes that you had to make in your life. So why don't you, share your story, and then how you came about putting your business together in helping women.
Okay. Well, I guess it probably all started way back when, as a little girl, I always wanted to be a nurse. I had this fixation, and I think the funny thing is, I actually went into hospital myself as a 5-year-old for a cardiac investigation. And I think that's really where my love for nursing came about. And I don't have an amazing story other than I loved the uniform that the nurses were wearing here in the UK at that point. However, one of the funny things being was years later, after I'd qualified as a nurse and I'd been through various other trainings and was more senior in my career, I ended up back at that same hospital, but as a consultant myself, a consultant nurse within cardiology. So it's quite ironic there. Yeah, same hospital. So very strange. But coming back to your point, I love nursing, totally my passion. I love helping people. I love the concept of health, etc. And as you rightly mentioned there in the beginning, I saw a lot of good stuff within the health system. And as you were referring to the NHS, which here in the UK is the National Health Service, which a lot of people tend to think it's free. It's free access, but people do end up paying for it in their various taxes and things. But I loved my job as a nurse. And so when it came to us moving over to California, I was faced with a decision. Do I carry on nursing or do I do something different? And I guess if I'm totally honest, the thing that made me slightly change my plans was it makes perfect sense, but I would have had to do a period of adjustment and some retraining, but it was going to cost an absolute fortune in the US. So instead I decided to take a sort of sidewards move and train to be a health coach. And at the time I had no idea really what that totally entailed. I had one or two friends that had been through it, so I spoke with them and loved the concept that it was very much a lot of the work that I'd done as a cardiac nurse, supporting patients at the time going through their health journey and advising them and empowering them to take charge of their own health. It was a similar thing to do with health coaching. And at that point it was like, well, what do I coach people on with their health? Because there's so many different things. And as you mentioned there, I went through my own menopause, and I'm rather embarrassed to admit that I actually didn't realize I was in perimenopause myself. Truth be told, I'd never even heard of the term perimenopause. So for me, I was expecting, one day we're going to wake up and, this is menopause, blah, 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 and done. How wrong was I? It took me a while to piece together the differences that were happening. And when I did, it was like, oh my gosh, if this is me who really doesn't understand what's happening with me, there must be so many more of my friends and family out there and many other women that are in a similar position. So I got chatting to people, and sure enough, a lot of ladies out there don't resonate with the concept of perimenopause, despite the fact they may have heard the term, which I hadn't, and then starting to piece together some of the changes that are happening for them. And then when we get chatting, you can start to see the picture. So I think that's where it was born, my interest in menopause. One, I'd been through it myself. I knew I could take a lot of my previous career and knowledge and skills and bring it and support women going through it. So that's a very long-winded way of answering your question.
Wow. So when you decided to make this change, how long have you been in business? What were the steps that you needed to take, and how do you reach out and what you do for clients or your clients?
So the interesting thing, as I said, I went to a couple of health coaching academies and did my basic training. Then I went on to do some extra study in gut health, hormone health, and sleep. And one of the key things for me was around sleep, because I had problems with sleep, and I still do, unless I actually pay attention and do something about it and do all the things that I suggest and advise to my lovely ladies. So having gone through the training and the understanding and the further development in those areas, then it was about, oh my gosh, it was great as a nurse. You trained as a nurse and suddenly all your patients were there in the hospital. You didn't have to do anything. But training as a health coach, suddenly it's like, where are my clients coming from? And so that was a total mind shift for me too, was then having to go and do some further studies and courses around marketing and sales. And I guess if I'm truthfully honest, marketing and sales aren't my favorite aspects. I love chatting with people. I love helping them. But of course, marketing and sales is a very important part for your own business. And I wasn't finding anywhere that was employing health coaches. So for me, it was like a bit of a no-brainer. Let's start my own business and take it from there. So I think like a lot of people that start their own business, we have our great ideas, but then it's very much like you learn as you go along. You learn what you need to know. You find the things that you're missing, and then you go find out what's needed. So it's a little bit like the ladies that I've been supporting. I go and find what I need to learn and to get to grips with for my business. And I've been taking my own coaches to help me through business.
So what are you finding with sleep? Because, you know, we're all in that thing category of like, we just can't get enough sleep. We're waking up, or we're having our anxiety, or that 3 a.m. wake up call. And I do know here that you're stating it through nutrition. Am I correct with that? It's how we make these changes. So what are you finding that we should avoid when it comes to sleep?
Well, it comes back again to it really comes back again to why I called my business Individually You Coaching, because there is no one set answer for all of us, because I think if there was, we probably wouldn't need people like ourselves, because we would all know exactly what to do. There's some core concepts that we can apply and then see how they work for people, and then we can start fine-tuning things to match what works for those people as an individual. And I liken that to, not everybody can eat nuts, for instance, peanuts. Some people can, some people are allergic, because we're all different. So we know that we all have to eat, but what we eat is very individual to us, and it will have an effect on how we operate as humans, how we have our health, etc. So when it comes to sleep, I think there's a couple of issues. Yes, we can definitely look at our diet, because there's foods that will keep you awake. There's drinks that will keep you awake. But I think one of the key things is starting off with is our mindset around sleep, because one of the big things that happens to the majority of us is we don't really value sleep and the benefit that it has for us. We think we can put it off, we can burn the candle both ends, and we can manage. And that generally happens because for the majority of the time we do pretty okay, until we hit that point where you're just whacked, you've got yourself out of sync with things, and then it starts to interfere with the rest of your life. So for instance, you can't concentrate, you get irritable with people, you start to get unhealthy. And that's because when we sleep, so much more happens to us than just closing our eyes. It's the opportunity for our body to rest, regenerate, and refire us for the next day. So it's about us really getting to grips with the importance of sleep. And so some of my work is very much around understanding people's relationship with sleep. How much importance do they apply to it? What is the culture in their house for staying up late and perhaps watching Netflix? So there's a lot of things to explore with people. So there's very common pointers that we can look at and work towards, but then I like digging deep with people individually to figure out what is it for that actual person that we can tweak, and they generally can come up with the answers themselves. And that's the key thing with being a coach. It's not giving everybody the answers, but it's enabling them to find out what they are themselves.
So do you, like when you meet with your say potential clients, someone's coming in for a consultation or what have you, what evaluation do you go over with them? Is there before they see you, is there a form that they fill out so you get a better understanding on how their diet is, what their exercise is, what their lifestyle is? Because, stress,
Yeah.
My gosh, I mean, that is like the big word that, it's just, and my thing is like, I know I can't have a glass of wine at night because I don't know what it is with alcohol, why it just like all of a sudden, bing, you're awake, it's all of a sudden you wake up.
Because Renee, basically we've all done it, and we do it from time to time. We think we'll go out for a glass of wine, or we have it at dinner at home, and yes, we think it sends us off to sleep, and for most people it will bring about that sense of wanting to close your eyes and drift off, but it's ultimately a stimulant. So after a couple of hours, it's got us awake again, and then we're laying in bed thinking, well, why can't I sleep? Because we've had a stimulant.
I never really thought of wine or alcohol like that, just due to the fact that, there are times where, like you just pass out. I mean, I'm not saying like you have an abundance, like, hello, party time, there you are on the couch, but it makes you so tired. But then if it's a stimulant, why is it making you so tired?
Because it works chemically to reduce your anxieties, and it settles you down. But what it's actually doing in the background is stimulating things. So we've gone off and we've dropped off to sleep, and then suddenly it's kicking in. And most alcohol has got a reasonably high sugar content in there too.
Yeah, it does.
So one of the other things is we've now got a relatively high sugar content. We go off to sleep and our sugar content is dropping, and then our body's wanting to wake ourselves up again to say, I want some more of that sugar. So there's quite a complex process that goes on. And don't forget, it's not just alcohol. You mentioned stress as well. So it's how much stress does somebody have? What are the other factors that are at play for them? Because it would be lovely if we all came along with just one issue. But unfortunately, we don't. Some people are diabetic. Some people are taking other medications, and it could be some of those medications that they're taking that actually wakes them up through the night. So coming back to your question about when I first meet people, I like to have a one-on-one conversation with people first, purely to figure out what is it they're looking for, and are we a good match? Because I'm not a good match for everybody. I'm not there to solve everybody's problems, but it's about understanding what are they looking for, and can I support them in their endeavors. So once we've had that and we've figured out, yes, this is a good match, and there's things that I've got that I could offer them, and I know that they're actually going to do the work, because I can't do the work for people. I can suggest and support, but people need to do the work themselves. As you know, with your business, you can suggest things to people, but until they do it, things don't happen. So once we've got to that point, then there's a little bit more of an in-depth health assessment, purely so as I can understand a lot more about them, about their preferences, their likes. There's not a lot of point me talking to maybe a vegetarian about a meat-based diet or sort of keto diets. So it's wanting to know, what have they tried before? What works for them? What didn't work for them? Get a clearer picture, and then we can start thinking about the suggestions
on there. I think that's so important, because a lot of times when we get into, like you said, you didn't know you were perimenopause, or however you want to call that. What are some of the first signs that you can help women recognize that, hey, there could be like something going on? Because like, let's put it this way. When I was younger, after the holidays, let me tell you, I could gain 10 pounds like during the holidays, and then I could lose it. But as I was getting in my 30s and I was getting into so now it was like, okay, only losing 5 pounds. All right. Then it was like losing no pounds, on that. And that whole system changes. So what is changing in your body when we're into this part? What is happening to us? Like, I guess I'm trying to understand, what is it why can't we lose the weight? Why is it always wanting to like stay on us, when we're in this type of life?
Yeah, there's lots of reasons behind it. And again, that comes back down to having a detailed history and conversation with somebody. But ultimately, it pretty much falls into the groups of imbalance of your hormones. They're changing. It's also around the environment that we live in, because there's a lot of toxins that can interfere with our hormones. And not just the environment, but again, coming back to the things that we eat, because they can interfere with our hormones. We get a lot of so for argument's sake, we can, people that eat meat, for instance, it's about understanding, where does your meat come from, how has it been reared, is it full of injected hormones for growth, etc. And then when you ingest that, you're ingesting those chemicals yourself, and it plays with your hormones. So it's very multidimensional. That's why we have many discussions around what people do, how they live, what their lifestyles are like. But as we get older, it's very much around the roller coaster of the hormones for perimenopause.
Right.
1 minute they're up and the next they're down, and up and down, and we're all over the place. So for some people it could be weight issues that they first notice. For some people it could just be they realize that they're very snappy with their partners. They can't figure out why maybe they're so upset and down about things, why things make them cry more on the television than they used to. It could be that they get cravings for different foods. Honestly, the list is... It's fine.
So sorry. I thought I put this thing on mute.
Don't
I'm
worry.
so sorry. Go ahead.
Honestly, Renee, the list is endless, because it's been quoted that there's over 100 different symptoms for perimenopause. So I think let's give the health services some credit, because a lot of ladies will say that they've been and spoken with their health practitioners who have no idea what's going on. And then everybody gives these health practitioners a hard time. But to be fair...
Don't you just love going on? Like I said, it's okay. I'm going to keep letting you talk.
No
Go right
worries.
ahead. I'm going to just get my dog out of the way. So my apologies.
No, that's fine. And to be perfectly honest, there are so many different symptoms that for some people it can be very vague, pinning them together and connecting up the dots for it to be perimenopause or menopause. And I think that's why it's always good to have a chat with somebody who is understanding of the position, because we could put weight on. Well, that could be for 100 different reasons. We could be very tearful and upset for lots of different reasons.
Right.
So it's about when you actually have that detailed conversation with somebody, and you can start joining the dots together, and then coupled possibly with their age, and say, have you thought about this? And then I like to support my ladies by empowering them to have a really detailed conversation with their health practitioner to get the best out of that visit, to understand, are they heading for perimenopause or menopause?
Well, I will just tell you that the information is so helpful, and what I'm doing actually as we're speaking, I'm putting your Instagram and your social media aspect on here. And I apologize. I have the people cutting my tree down now. So of course, my husband tells me it's after 12, they're coming. And I'm like, it's not even 12 o'clock yet, and this one over here is barking up a storm. So I'm putting this information out because I want people to be able to know how to find you, to ask you questions. And also, if before we close, what tips would you give some women to help them, and just to help them balance out what they're going through, and then how it is that they can help you, how they can reach out to you?
Okay. Well, I guess the first and main thing is, don't try going it alone. Okay. Whether that's chatting away to friends, girlfriends, other people that have been through menopause, or making some contact somewhere, because it is so easy to hide yourself away and think, well, this will go, try putting up with things. And really talking can be half the problem solved, because we can then find out the direction you need to go. So the big thing is, don't try going it alone. And the next thing I would also say is, it's not your mother's menopause. Times have changed. There is so much we can do.
Her mother's
Honestly.
menopause.
Yeah, because I think years ago our mothers put up with it. Well, this is my lot and that's what I've got to do. That's not the case today. I honestly say to my ladies, suffering is optional. Okay, so let's go out and see what we can do. And often, I would say for the majority of people, it's about making a few easy tweaks to your lifestyle. For others, yes, there's a lot more that we can go into. We have different degrees of how ladies go through their menopause, but yeah, don't go it alone. Go and get some support and advice, and don't think it's your mother's menopause. And yeah, please come and get in touch with me. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook, whereby there's various posts and things, and connect with me and let's have a chat and see what's going on.
Well, I just love that idea. I always think it's great where, people can direct message you. I mean, right now I have your Facebook group, which I know you have a lot of great information on there that people can check out. Because I do know sometimes too, it's very private. Sometimes, it's just, I don't know why, but we have like this mental block of just wanting to ask the question. Sometimes we're embarrassed too, a little bit, with that. So here is Jane's Facebook group, and I apologize, but it's Facebook, the group, and I didn't space after the love, but you can check that link out. One more time is her Instagram account. You can join her on Instagram, as well as, I think I have one more, your business page, correct?
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you so much for joining me. My apologies for the last minute of these dog barking and the tree being cut.
I think it's great, Renee. It's true life. It's nothing is perfect. And that's another key thing. Don't aim for perfection.
That's so true. We just have to have fun at it as we're doing it. So I just need no tree coming down on me, and I'll be like, hey, okay, as everything's going on. But I really want to thank you for taking the time for speaking with me. And I even learned so much from just listening to you. And for those of you out there that are watching us live, I want to thank you for being with us. And share this share the replay with whoever that you feel that could get some of this information, and let them reach out to Jane. Jane, I want to thank you. Enjoy London. I hope it is nice out there. And I know soon you'll be coming back to the States, and I look forward to being in touch with you. So,
well, I just want to thank you for inviting me, because this is such an important topic. It shouldn't be taboo anymore, and let's get out there. So thank you so much, Renee. I really, really appreciate this.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you. And everyone out there, again, if you are wanting me to showcase your biz, please remember to just join. I'm trying to find my Facebook group, which is Simplify Your Business Administration. Hop on, join, let us learn about you. We'd love to share what you do. And again, we are going to be doing another live showcase in March, the second Friday of March. And I hope you will join me next week on Wednesday for my weekly business. I'm sorry, I'm looking down at myself in this camera. I got to look at the camera. My weekly Wednesday business tips. So everyone, make it a great day. Enjoy your weekend. It's Friday. Everybody should just relax now and go out and have a great time. So thank you, everybody. And Jane, thank you again. I truly do appreciate you being on.
Thank you, Renee.